Hey everyone! If you enjoyed this video, the full version is available on Patreon. I'll be uploading all my content there going forward.
Chapter 1 1517 in the Haiwan calendar. At this moment, a pirate invasion is taking place in Logue Town, East Blue. Pirates are slaughtering civilians indiscriminately on the streets of Logue Town. Whether old, young, or women, none could escape being tortured and killed. The women suffered the most, first being toyed with by these pirates and then killed. The captain of the Azure Wolf pirates, Azure Wolf, watched the scene unfold and laughed wildly. He shouted, "Men, kill them! Don't let them escape!" Azure Wolf is not the main character. The crew of the Blue Wolf pirates were even more excited upon hearing their captain's words, their eyes gleaming with murderous intent. They were ready to become executioners or rape the women of Logue Town. For pirates, every day is a constant struggle, a life lived on the edge. They're so afraid of dying that they might as well enjoy life. Seeing his subordinates unleash their true nature, Kang Lang became excited and agitated. But in an instant, anger and fear flashed in his eyes. The Blue Wolf pirates are the dominant force in the East Blue. And he, Kang Lang, is a great pirate with a bounty of 40 million. In the East Blue Sea, he could have anything he wanted. But he never expected. Rewind to half a month ago, when the Blue Wolf pirates were sailing at sea, they unexpectedly encountered the Navy sailing at sea, and the leader of the Navy was none other than the famous Navy Lieutenant Commander White Hunter Smoker. The Wolf had long heard of Smoker, the White Hunter, but he paid it no heed. He considered Smoker a useless marine, and his reputation was nothing more than an exaggeration. So he directly provoked Smoker on the ship. The cold-blooded Wolf said, "Isn't this the famous Smoker? Where are we going?" Smoker frowned. He knew the Wolf's identity the moment it appeared. This made Smoker's already bad mood even worse. He had just been scolded by Fleet Admiral Sengoku for disobeying orders from the Marine headquarters. Now that he's seen a mere pirate trying to provoke him, Smoker is extremely annoyed. Smoker had already decided to give this pirate a good beating and, incidentally, capture him and send him to Impel Down to experience prison life. Having thought about all this, Smoker's worries had subsided. He then looked at the Wolf with disdain and said, "What are you so arrogant about, you mere pirate?" When the Wolf saw that Smoker was showing him no respect, his expression turned extremely cold. Without further ado, Kang Lang ordered his men to fire on the naval ships. Upon hearing the captain's words, his men quickly set up cannons and opened fire on the naval ship. Bang bang! Black cannonballs flew through the air toward the Navy ship. Suddenly, a dark mass appeared before the Navy personnel. This caused some of them to panic, unsure of what to do. Looking at these cowardly Navy men, Smoker's face darkened, and he was about to be reprimanded. Suddenly, a melodious female voice rang out on the battlefield. It was a slender young woman, holding a dagger and wearing glasses. She shouted, "Don't panic, everyone. Trust Major Smoker, he'll protect us." This is a girl named Tashiji. She stands out on the battlefield. It's hard to imagine that a woman could be so calm and composed on this battlefield. Although he was only a corporal, he was quite well known at the Logue Town naval base. Upon hearing Tashiji's words, the sailors stopped their panic and took measures to deal with the incoming shells. Smoker was very pleased to see Tashiji's outstanding performance. The child has grown up. Smoker had no time to praise Tashiji. He could only instruct the helmsman to avoid the shells. He himself transformed into a white smoke and charged into the shells. Smoker is a Logia-type devil fruit user, so he is naturally not afraid of cannonballs. Amidst the cannonballs, Smoker directly used his devil fruit ability, slowly uttering, "White Fist." His hands turned into white smoke as he charged straight into the pile of shells. The shells hit by Smoker's smoke were rendered ineffective and failed to explode. However, some shells still managed to fly towards the top of the naval ships. Perhaps due to the established setting of the One Piece world, Or perhaps because the Navy's helmsmen were exceptionally skilled, the warships completely avoided the cannonballs and remained unaffected. Seeing his helmsman's impressive performance, Smoker grinned. He then leaped onto the Blue Wolf pirates' ship and unleashed a powerful punch at the crew. Before the Blue Wolf pirates could react, they saw Smoker use his Devil Fruit ability to unleash a white fist attack on them. In their haste, the members of the Blue Wolf pirates could only scramble to escape in a panic. But where could they hide on this ship? More than half of the pirates were instantly killed by Smoker's shockwave. Seeing his subordinate killed by Smoker, the wolf could no longer bear it. With a roar, he charged directly at Smoker. Smoker saw the wolf ambush him but didn't take it seriously. The wolf was a Logia-type Devil Fruit user, and as long as armament haki wasn't used, it couldn't harm him. In the weak East Blue, Smoker possesses the Logia-type Devil Fruit, making him virtually invincible. As expected, although the wolf struck Smoker, Smoker's body transformed into a flowing, liquid mist. Upon witnessing this bizarre scene, the wolf cried out in disbelief, "Are you a Logia-type Devil Fruit user?" Kang Lang hadn't expected Smoker to be a Devil Fruit user. He hadn't paid any attention to Smoker's information before, thinking it was all an exaggeration. Although Devil Fruit users are rare in the 4 seas, the wolf still knows about Devil Fruits. He also knows that there are 3 types of Devil Fruits, Logia, Zoan, and Paramecia. While searching for treasure on an island, the Blue Wolf pirates obtained a strangely shaped fruit, which turned out to be a Devil Fruit. The wolf knew that it was something that could change his fate, so he ate the unknown fruit directly. After eating the Devil Fruit, the Azure Wolf's body changed, transforming into a wolf. Clearly, the Azure Wolf obtained a Zoan-type Devil Fruit, Zoan-type Dog Fruit, Azure Wolf form. After obtaining a Zoan-type Devil Fruit, the Wolf of the Blue Sea thrived in the East Blue with his immense power, killing many pirates step by step and becoming the overlord of the East Blue. In past battles, the Azure Wolf has encountered Zoan-type and Paramecia-type Devil Fruit users, but he has never encountered a Logia-type Devil Fruit user. Seeing the changes in Smoker's body made him think that perhaps only Logia-type Devil Fruits could produce such a special effect. Smoker saw the wolf's question and a smug look appeared on his face. He then slowly said, "I am Smoker, a lieutenant commander in the Navy, and also a Logia-type smoke fruit user." Chapter 2. After hearing Smoker's admission, the wolf felt very uneasy. But considering that I'm also a Devil Fruit user, it's not certain who will win or lose. Thinking about all this, the wolf used its Devil Fruit power and instantly transformed into a giant wolf. And so a ferocious-looking, enormous grey wolf appeared before the Navy personnel. The naval soldiers, who had initially calmed down from their initial panic, became restless again. They hadn't expected this pirate to be a Devil Fruit user, and they were extremely worried that Smoker wouldn't be able to defeat him. Before Smoker could react, the huge grey wolf charged toward him at an incredible speed. Smoker could only dodge quickly when faced with the sudden attack of the grey wolf. Although, as a Zoan-type Devil Fruit user, it posed no threat. However, if he gets hit, it will also deplete his stamina, which is not worth the risk. While dodging, Smoker used his Devil Fruit ability to attack the wolf. However, the effect was far from ideal. "It's like scraping your skin, is this Li Bai? V. This is because Zoan-type Devil Fruit users have very strong physiques, and it's difficult to quickly resolve without absolute strength." Faced with the giant grey wolf's frenzied attacks, Smoker was actually helpless and could only fight and retreat while looking for an opportunity to strike again. The battle between Smoker and the wolf had reached a stalemate. Both were drenched in sweat and panting heavily. Neither could gain the upper hand. Smoker eventually found an opportunity and attacked the giant wolf's head. The moment the giant wolf was struck on the head, it suffered a splitting headache and collapsed to the ground, rolling around in agony. Smoker breathed a sigh of relief when he saw the wolf lying on the ground. They were just about to take advantage of the wolf's pain to finish it off, but they didn't expect the wolf to be so cunning. The wolf, who was lying on the ground, suddenly stood up and went to the naval warship at an extremely fast speed. This unexpected turn of events caught the Navy completely off guard. The Azure Wolf was truly cunning. He lowered their guard before launching a surprise attack. The Navy personnel were terrified when they saw the Azure Wolf, thinking it was about to attack them. Some panicked and shouted, "What's going on? How did this giant wolf suddenly end up on a naval warship?" The giant wolf's eyes flashed with disdain upon seeing the cowardly Navy. But it still didn't take action against these naval forces. It was well aware of its situation. Smoker had already exhausted most of its strength and had also injured its head. It was now at its last gasp. The Grey Wolf attacked the naval warships in all directions. The warships, which were originally intact, were instantly riddled with several large holes by the Grey Wolf, and sea water was slowly seeping into them. Having done all this, the wolf laughed maniacally at Smoker. "I've destroyed Smoker's navy ships. If you insist on continuing your attack, then your men can go and feed the fish in the sea." After saying this, the wolf returned to his ship at lightning speed and transformed into human form. He had already destroyed the Navy's warships, and he didn't believe Smoker would continue to pursue him. Sure enough, Smoker didn't pursue him any further. In fact, Smoker was terrified when he saw the wolf go to the warship. Smoker feared that the wolf might brutally kill naval soldiers on the warship, and if that happened, he would suffer for a long time. But Smoker was surprised that the wolf didn't kill the Marines, which made him feel very fortunate. However, the warship suffered severe damage. Thinking about all this, Smoker abandoned the idea of pursuing the Azure Wolf and decided to deal with the warship first. He could pursue the Azure Wolf later. The lives of mere pirates were not as valuable as the lives of his soldiers. As Grey Wolf watched Smoker depart, he breathed a sigh of relief. He almost lost his life today. Luckily, he had acted quickly and sabotaged the Navy's warship. He was also betting that Smoker wasn't the kind of Navy officer who would abandon his men. He'd clearly made the right bet. He should leave now. He'd find a chance to get revenge on Smoker later. Thinking this, madness and hatred flashed in the wolf's eyes. And that's how the two sides became enemies. Back in the present, the wolf learned that Smoker had left Logue Town, so he took the opportunity to go to Logue Town and wreak havoc. What Kang Lang failed to notice was that a boy he had killed was slowly recovering. The protagonist has finally appeared. Minos was still in a daze and didn't know what was happening. He could only hear the noise around him, which was seriously affecting his sleep. Minos opened his eyes, ready to unleash a torrent of abuse. But he was shocked by the scene before him. Was Minos still asleep? How could he see a group of people slaughtering everyone? Minos, who was still in a daze, suddenly went blank, and then many memories appeared in his mind. His original name was Ross, and he was a nobody living on Earth, no car, no house, no savings. Ross found this kind of life extremely boring. All he could do each day was listen to music, watch anime, and maybe browse the browser a little. One day, Ross was browsing his browser as usual when suddenly a clap of thunder struck and his phone exploded. Just like that, Ross was transported to the world of One Piece. Before his consciousness faded, Ross breathed a sigh of relief. His phone had exploded. Surely no one could access his browser history now. Minos, hereafter known as Minos, came to his senses and realized that he had been transported to the world of One Piece. This made Minos very happy, and the original owner of this body was also very handsome, with a height of 3 meters and red hair. He was simply the perfect candidate for general. But the thought that the original owner of this body was a person who was powerless and weak, otherwise he would not have been killed by pirates, made Minos very distressed. When the original owner saw the pirates invading Logue Town, he foolishly rushed in, but was easily defeated by the pirates. This made Minos very panicked. Was he going to die again right after he transmigrated? Thinking about all this, Minos cried out in his heart, "System! System! Master System! Come out quickly!" Otherwise, your host is about to be gone. Ding! Congratulations, host, for speaking the code. The killing system is reporting this. Minos was speechless. System, you mean I need to call you master for you to appear, right? Ding! Cough cough host, you've misunderstood. This system only appeared because it heard your call. It's definitely not because you called me master. Minos felt indignant and resentful at the system's sophistry. He wanted to confront the system, but remembering that he still needed it to survive, he told himself not to take the system's unreasonable behavior to heart. Minos rolled his eyes. Hey, system! What are your functions? Ding! A question from the host has been received. The system will send it to the host via email for easy access. Note: the host can view it by checking the system panel with their consciousness. Ding! Sent. Please check it yourself. Chapter 3. When Minos saw the email notification from the system, he was completely dumbfounded. Why did this scene feel so familiar? Minos suppressed his curiosity and silently checked the system panel. What appeared before Minos was a game-like interface. But it only showed the shop and kill count. There was nothing else, which made Minos feel that this system was too much like a single-player game. I can understand what Minos in the shop means, but what's with this kill value? Is this meant for him to prove his Deo through killing? But the problem is, this isn't a fantasy world, is it? Minos was puzzled by this and could only ask the system. Hey, what does this kill count mean? Ding! This kill points are earned by defeating powerful individuals. Kill points can be used to buy anything you want in the system shop. For example, devil fruits, wood release techniques, sword techniques, daily necessities, submarines, and ships with built-in navigation are all available. You can buy almost anything you want, the system's eerie voice bewitched Minos. Holy crap! Minos was so shocked when he heard the system's introduction that he couldn't help but curse. He was truly shocked. The effect of this kill value seemed to be incredibly significant. No, to survive in this pirate world, he needs to have kill points, right? Minos anxiously asked the system. Can that young master really buy anything? Like devil fruits that have already been eaten, or even the wood release from the Naruto world? Ding! Of course, you can buy almost anything as long as you have enough kill points. But you can't buy things like the Emperor Ye template, or things from the fantasy world like the Human Emperor banner and immortal artifacts. Ding! I'm just a system in the anime world, not a system in the fantasy world. Upon hearing the system's explanation, Minos breathed a sigh of relief and was overjoyed. Forget about fantasy worlds, surviving in the One Piece world was the priority. Being able to buy things from other anime worlds was already quite impressive. There was no need to dwell on fantasy elements. After calming himself down by thinking about all this, Minos asked the system again. Master, how many kill points do I have now? Ding! The host can now view the character panel, which contains the host's character introduction. Minos thought to himself, this function is even available. This system is pretty good. The next moment, Minos used his consciousness to open the character panel. Host, Minos. Age, 19. Skills, none. Item, none. Kill points, none. Evaluation, right now, besides being a little handsome, you have nothing else to offer. Well, Minos's anticipation vanished instantly upon seeing this simple system. But looking at the system's evaluation, Minos was speechless. System. Your evaluation makes me seem so useless. Minos questioned the system. Ding! The system wasn't wrong, the host is indeed utterly useless right now. In this pirate world, you might not be able to beat a chicken, but you certainly can't defeat even the most insignificant soldier. Minos was utterly heartbroken by the system's words, leaving him speechless. The system had truly spoken the truth. Haha, there was no need for the system to be so blunt back then. Minos laughed awkwardly. Ding, I'm telling you the truth. Please, host, become stronger as soon as possible. The system's voice turned serious at this point. This is a bit unusual for Minos. Alright, Minos could only quickly agree to the system's request. Suddenly Minos remembered something. Master, did you forget to give me something? Ding! What's that? Clearly, the system was also a little confused, wondering what it hadn't provided. Minos said directly, Master, you haven't given me my newbie gift pack yet. Upon hearing that Minos wanted a newbie gift pack, the system immediately pretended to be dead on the spot. The system wasn't going to answer Minos, it intended to brush him off. Minos was instantly horrified when he saw the system feigning death. The system was trying to embezzle his newbie gift pack. How could he tolerate this? Minos is directly threatening the system, that entire system. Look at the situation now. Pirates have already been wreaking havoc in Logue Town. If they find me, I'll die again. If I die, won't you, system, be out of a job? What will other systems think of you then? They'll just say you're useless and might as well be rebuilt from scratch. So, system, you don't want your host to die, do you? At this point, Minos seemed to have awakened something and couldn't help but let out a cackling laugh. Clearly, we have gained another member to our soul hall. Keek, get back to business. The system was stunned by Minos's shameless act. It hadn't expected Minos to actually threaten it. It's a supreme system. How could it tolerate being threatened by Minos? Well, it's true that it can't do anything about Minos. From the moment it bound itself to Minos, their lives have been intertwined. Ahem, and that newbie gift pack, it really was intended for embezzlement. Now that the host has discovered it, let's return it to him first. Ding! Congratulations, host, for speaking the code. The killing system is now issuing a newbie gift pack. Damn it, Minos, who was just getting excited about awakening some strange attributes, was angered again by the system's words. If he hadn't asked the system, wouldn't the system have embezzled this newbie gift pack? Minos didn't believe the system's code words at all. Minos thought to himself, this system is really a rip-off. I almost got my newbie gift pack stolen. Luckily, he remembered the newbie gift pack, otherwise he would have nowhere to cry. Alright, I won't hold it against you, system, this time. Minos forgave the system after seeing that it had returned the newbie gift pack. The system was speechless at the speed at which Minos changed his tune. Bite. Minos, seeing the system's speechless expression, smiled knowingly. Then, he said to the system, open the newbie gift pack. Ding! The newbie gift pack has been opened. Ding! Congratulations, host, you have obtained a super strong physique, a supreme greatsword, intermediate level 3 color haki, and a mythical Zoan-type devil fruit. Additionally, a black cloak is also being gifted to you. Damn, Minos was shocked by the system's newbie gift pack. He couldn't believe this was a newbie gift pack. He would have believed you if you told him it was the premium gift pack. Can you believe that a newbie gift pack contains so many great items? Super strong physique, it's obvious that it's about enhancing his physical condition. Upon arriving in the world of One Piece, his physical condition was already poor, but now he possesses an exceptionally strong physique. He also doesn't need to worry about running out of stamina when fighting pirates. After all, in this pirate world, you can't really say you're in good shape unless you fight for 3 days and 3 nights, right? Hehe, if the physical constitution from the pirate world were applied to Earth, then I'd fight, and sleep, 10 of them. V. Chapter 4. After examining the superhuman physique, Minos turned his attention to the other items. For example, the Supreme Greatsword is currently in the system inventory. This is a 2-meter-long tang sword, dark red all over, looking like an evil demon sword. Those with weak wills will be bewitched by this demon sword. But Minos didn't care at all, his will was incredibly strong. Can you imagine, even on his deathbed, he was thinking about whether his browser history had been deleted? That shows how determined he was. Aside from that, isn't this demon sword also a supreme great sword? You must know that this is an unparalleled great sword. In the world of One Piece, there are only 12 supreme grade swords, and those who obtain a supreme grade sword are all powerful individuals. For example, Hawkeye Mihawk and Edward Whitebeard. Hawkeye uses the supreme grade sword Yoru, while Whitebeard uses the supreme grade sword Kyomagari. Both of them are among the strongest of the strong, one is a Shishibukai, and the other is one of the 4 emperors of the New World. This also shows how rare the supreme grade swords are. Apart from the supreme grade swords that did not appear in the original work, all the others were obtained by the strong. Minos looked at the supreme great sword that the system had given him. Was it meant for him to use the sword to kill enemies and gain kill points? That seems like a good option, Minos thought to himself. Minos then looked at the 3 types of haki. Good heavens, this is really something. He's already at the intermediate level with all 3 types of haki, which has given him a huge boost. In the world of One Piece, there are various ways to become stronger. Some become strong by using swordsmanship, some by training in haki, and some by relying on devil fruit abilities. However, those who become strong all use haki to varying degrees. Observation haki and armament haki are essential. It can be said that haki is a must-have for every strong person. Note, brothers, you might be wondering why Whitebeard and the Marine Admirals didn't use haki during the Marineford War. Actually, I was also puzzled at first, but after researching, I found out that Whitebeard hadn't fully developed it in the early stages. His haki only fully appeared after the Marineford War. The original 3 admirals all possessed haki, as well as armament haki and observation haki, it's just that Whitebeard hadn't perfected them in the early stages. Otherwise, how could someone without any observation haki or armament haki become an admiral or one of the 4 emperors? Keek, get back to business. Just like Garp and Zephyr in the Navy, they are both masters of haki and physical skills. Even without devil fruit abilities, they still use haki to build their reputation and make pirates tremble in fear. Then there are Roger and Shanks from One Piece, both masters of haki. The former became the Pirate King, and the latter became one of the 4 emperors of the New World, Shanks. They are also known by many netizens as users of the face fruit. They all cultivated their haki to an extremely high level, which made them among the strongest in the pirate world. Now, Minos got all 3 types of haki by opening a beginner's gift pack, and they're even intermediate level. Anyone would be happy about that. Although the 3 types of haki only reached the intermediate level, they were not as high as Roger and Shanks. Minos was not disappointed. After all, Roger and the others had cultivated for a long time before reaching the advanced or top level. If he hadn't been lucky enough to unlock the intermediate level of the 3-color domineering aura, who knows how much longer he would have had to cultivate. With these complex emotions in mind, Minos turned his gaze back to the devil fruit. This is a strange fruit that looks like an apple, except that it is black and has a strange creature on it. Minos doesn't know what it is. But the system says it's a mythical Zoan-type devil fruit, so it must be a devil fruit from a legendary creature. Minos then turned his gaze to the last item in the newbie gift pack, a black cloak. However, the black cloak is fine, but why are there white characters for justice on it? Minos was very puzzled. Did the Emperor want him to become an admiral in the Navy? Ding! This is a cloak given to you by the system. It is designed to be indestructible in battle and also has a built-in cleaning function. Ding! And don't you think it looks cool to wear a cape during battle? Minos has something to say at this moment, but he doesn't know whether he should say it or not. Damn, system, you're really sneaky. You want me to wear the justice cloak in front of the Navy? Isn't that just asking for death? Moreover, it's a black justice cloak. How can the Navy maintain its dignity like this? Ding. Host, don't panic. As long as you have enough kill points, you will become incredibly powerful. At that time, the Navy, the 4 emperors, or even the world government will be slaughtered by you, Ding. And host, don't you want to see what the legendary I'm looks like? Ding. Host, don't you also want to meet the goddess of the rabbit from the Naruto world? Ding. I heard that not only are they good looking, but they also have very large, milky white breasts. Don't you want to meet them? Minos was instantly drawn in by the system's series of questions. If you were to travel to the world of One Piece or Naruto, every traveler would want to meet the legendary goddess. But Minos was a man of extreme stubbornness. Although he was attracted by the system's allure, he still stubbornly insisted, that system. Don't wrong me. How could I be tempted by mere beauty? I am determined to become a great love immortal. Bite. Ding. This system has been shocked by your shameless behavior, host. Ding. I wonder who got struck by lightning while browsing the browser on a rainy day. Ding. It's clear that your so-called ambition is a huge joke. The system witnessed Minos's shameless act and didn't hold back in exposing him. Damn it, Minos cursed the system inwardly, speechless at the system's erratic behavior. What system would constantly sabotage its host? This system does, and it did it twice. Ahem, well, system, I was just trying to liven things up a bit, Minos said awkwardly. Ding, this system is too lazy to talk to the host anymore. The host should hurry up and fuse the super physique and the 3 types of haki. Otherwise, the people of Logue Town will be killed by these pirates. Upon seeing the system notification, Minos's playful mood instantly vanished. He almost forgot that the original owner of this body was killed by these pirates. Now that he has transmigrated, he should help his predecessor take revenge. As for the people of Rogue Town, he'll save as many as he can. After all, he doesn't owe them anything. Of course, he doesn't care about those who don't want to live. Note, the protagonist isn't a saint, he'll kill anyone who stands in his way. Chapter 5. Minos, having thought about all this, stopped worrying. He just wanted to live freely, without being constrained or morally blackmailed. Minos, who understood the situation, instructed the system to integrate his superhuman physique with the 3 types of haki. Ding, a request from the host has been received. Ding. The super physique and the 3-color domineering aura are merging with the host. Please wait. A few minutes later, Minos's superhuman physique and 3-color haki completely merged with him. At this moment, Minos's body had undergone a tremendous change. His originally somewhat slender physique had instantly become much stronger. This doesn't mean becoming a muscular man, it means keeping your body in its original shape, only the flesh has turned into muscle. It gives the impression of being very fit and strong, rather than bulky. Minos carefully felt the changes in his body, and was overjoyed, wishing he could shout a few times to vent his excitement. Minos felt incredibly powerful at that moment, as if he could smash everything with a single punch. But this was nothing more than Minos's frivolous feeling of suddenly gaining power. It's like an ordinary person suddenly gaining extraordinary power, and then they become arrogant and fearless. Just as Minos was completely absorbed in the moment, the system's voice instantly brought him to his senses. Ding! Warning! Warning! Ding! The host is currently disoriented. Please wake up as soon as possible. Minos instantly regained consciousness following the system's prompting. He almost lost himself in the power just now, which was extremely dangerous. Minos broke out in a cold sweat and was terrified at the thought of all this. Minos smiled bitterly to himself. Indeed, people often lose themselves once they get what they want. Thankfully, the system provided reminders, otherwise he would have lost his way. If he thought he was so powerful and went to challenge the 4 emperors or admirals, he would have been finished. Minos quickly said to the system, "Thank you so much, Master System." Ding. The system is pleased to detect that the host has regained consciousness. Please be careful in the future to avoid getting lost again. Minos was very pleased with the system's reminder. The system finally knew to care about its host. Minos assured the system, "Thank you for the reminder, Master. I will pay attention in the future." Ding. Host, please kill enemies as soon as possible to gain kill points. Alright, system, now watch my performance. Minos instantly stood up from the wrecked town of Rogue, but his eyes remained closed. Minos's bizarre behavior naturally attracted the attention of the Blue Wolf pirates. They hadn't expected that there would be one who had slipped through their net and dared to feign death in front of them. At this moment, Kang Lang also witnessed this bizarre scene involving Minos. He clearly saw Minos being killed by one of his men with a single blow. But why does he now appear completely unharmed, and why has his entire aura changed? This left Kang Lang puzzled. Unable to understand, Kang Lang gestured to his men with his eyes to deliver a blow to Minos. Upon seeing the captain's signal, Kang Lang's men immediately drew their swords and walked towards Minos. He was still laughing wildly. "Where did this brat come from, daring to play dead in front of us? Looks like you're tired of living." The pirates arrived in front of Minos and slashed down with their swords. But unexpectedly, Minos, who had been keeping his eyes closed, suddenly opened them. A flash of red appeared in his eyes, clearly indicating that Minos had used Conqueror's Haki. An invisible aura of dominance emanated from Minos's body, instantly enveloping the entire town of Rogue. The battlefield fell silent, and no one uttered a sound. This is because all of the Blue Wolf pirates' subordinates were knocked unconscious by Minos's Conqueror's Haki, leaving only the Blue Wolf, who had transformed into a giant wolf, lying on the ground, still struggling to stay afloat. Before he could even react to what was happening, he was overwhelmed by the immense pressure. Fortunately, he activated his animal form in the critical moment, preventing him from fainting like his subordinates. But it also left him, the wolf, lying on the ground, unable to move. The wolf was terrified as it thought about all this, having no idea what was going on. Kang Lang desperately wanted to know what had happened. He only saw his subordinate slash at Minos's head before being instantly stunned by Minos's open eyes. But no one could answer him, because only he and Minos remained on the field. Both the people of Logue Town and his subordinates were stunned by Minos's Conqueror's Haki. Minos's intermediate-level Conqueror's Haki was originally controllable, but for convenience, he directly stunned both the people and the pirates. That's right, Minos did it for convenience and to experience Conqueror's Haki. Clearly, he was very satisfied with the effect of Conqueror's Haki. Minos muttered to himself, "This Conqueror's Haki is truly a great skill for clearing out small fry." Just as Minos was pondering this, he suddenly noticed a giant wolf struggling desperately, which surprised him. In this weak East Blue Sea, there are actually small fry who can withstand his Conqueror's Haki attack. But seeing that the other party seemed to be a Zoan-type Devil Fruit user, Minos wasn't surprised. Zoan-type Devil Fruit users have much stronger physical attributes than the other two types, especially after awakening their Zoan abilities. They can practically be called indestructible cockroaches. During the Egghead Island incident, Lucci, whose Zoan-type Devil Fruit had awakened, was brought to the brink of death. However, after awakening his Zoan-type Devil Fruit, he immediately recovered from his injuries. After awakening their Zoan-type abilities, they really are like having a cheat code. But Minos looked at the giant wolf, which seemed to have never appeared in the original story. They seem to be nothing more than small fry, minor characters who didn't appear in the original work. Thinking about all this, Minos instantly lost interest in the giant wolf. It would be better to kill it and turn it into kill points. Minos retrieved the dark red tang sword from the system, preparing to finish off the giant wolf. Upon witnessing this scene, the giant wolf was terrified and cried out in panic, "Please have mercy. I'm willing to become your subordinate. Seeing that Minos had no reaction, the giant wolf could only say in fear again, my name is Grey Wolf, and I am a great pirate with a bounty of 40 million. I am willing to do anything for you, just please don't kill me. Upon hearing the wolf's words, Minos's eyes lit up, and he wished he could kill it immediately. Keep in mind, this is a pirate worth 40 million. I wonder how many kill points I'll get after killing him? Seeing that Minos showed no sign of letting him go, Grey Wolf felt utterly hopeless. He hadn't expected that his trip to Logue Town to take revenge on Smoker would lead him to encounter someone as powerful as Minos. The despondent wolf was instantly killed by Minos. After killing the Azure Wolf, Minos received a system notification. Ding! You have gained kill points. Chapter 6. Ding! Congratulations, host, you have gained 400 kill points. Minos was very puzzled as to why his kill count was only 400. Ding! This is based on the bounty. For example, if the bounty is 10 million, the host will gain 100 kill points for killing the pirate. If the bounty exceeds 100 million, the host will gain 1000 kill points. Killing a pirate with a bounty of 1 billion will grant 10,000 kill points, and killing a pirate with a bounty of 2 billion will grant 20,000 kill points. What about those without bounties? For example, how should we calculate the bounties for marine soldiers and pirate crews? And what about marine admirals or fleet admirals? They don't have bounties either, Minos asked the system. Ding! As alerted by the host, this system has fixed the vulnerability. Ding! Regarding this point, the system offers two options. First, you can determine a person's kill value based on their strength. Within the Navy, if a character's strength reaches the level of a lieutenant commander to a rear admiral, the host will gain 500 kill points upon killing them. If they reach the level of a vice admiral, the host will gain 5,000 kill points. If they reach the level of a vice admiral, the host will gain 10,000 kill points. And if they reach the level of an admiral, the host will gain 30,000 kill points. Additionally, for each Navy soldier or pirate soldier killed, the host will gain 10 kill points. Ding! The second option is that the host can place a bounty on a famous figure in the Navy. As long as the bounty is accepted by most people, it will be valid, and the host will receive corresponding kill points after killing the target. Ding! Please make your choice carefully, host. Once chosen, the choice cannot be changed. Minos looked at the two options offered by the system and felt that both were reasonable. He wanted both. Young master, can I choose both? Minos asked with a sheepish smile. Bite. Ding! Please do not try any tricks with this system. This system only offers two choices, so stop arguing. Oh, Lord Commander! You've misunderstood. I just wanted to have more options, Minos flattered. Ding! Please make your selection as soon as possible. Clearly, the system was once again speechless at Minos's shameless behavior and just wanted Minos to make a choice quickly, not wanting to pay any more attention to him. Seeing the system's impatience, Minos was also constantly thinking about whether to choose the first option or the second option. Minos was very conflicted. If he could, he would want both. But the system was very rigid, which troubled him greatly. Minos pondered for a moment, then seemed to have thought of something, his eyes gleaming. Minos recalled that after the Marineford War in the original manga, the Navy abolished the title of the Seven Warlords of the Sea. This meant that the Seven Warlords were no longer legitimate pirates, and the Navy began to target them. Sending admirals or vice-admirals to arrest the Seven Warlords of the Sea, such as Hawkeye Mihawk, was a good thing. The Navy sent Admiral Fujitora to arrest him. However, Mihawk was so powerful that he was not arrested by the Navy. Just when Mihawk was wondering what to do next, an unexpected person contacted him via Den Mushi, a type of Den Mushi. This person is none other than the former Shishibukai member, Crocodile, also known as Sand Crocodile, but referred to as Old Crocodile by various transmigrators. After the Marineford War, Crocodile was preparing to rebuild his power, but he couldn't find a strong candidate to lead it. Just then, the Navy abolished the Seven Warlords system, which gave Crocodile an opportunity to win over Hawkeye. So, he made a phone call to Hawkeye and, with his silver tongue, managed to persuade the bewildered Hawkeye to join his cause. With Hawkeye and Old Man Sand's formidable strength at the helm, the Crusader Guild was successfully established. And, a rather comical incident occurred as well. People outside didn't know that the real leaders of the Cross Society were Old Sand and Hawkeye, they thought it was Bucky. In Bucky's propaganda, it was Bucky who conquered Hawkeye and Crocodile. And so the Crusades became famous, becoming the Royal Order, and Bucky became its leader. Crocodile and Hawkeye were naturally unhappy that their faction had been robbed of its fruits, so they found Bucky and beat him up. Driven by a powerful will to survive, Bucky, with his conqueror's haki and sheer luck, persuaded Crocodile and Hawkeye, promising to be their puppet in name only. Bucky's words moved both Crocodile and Hawkeye, so they let him go. And so, Bucky truly became the leader of the Crusaders. Then, the Crusaders did something truly awe-inspiring, making the already chaotic sea even more turbulent. The Cross Society offered bounties to high-ranking naval officers. Anyone in the Navy with even a little reputation was eligible for a bounty. Previously, no one dared to offer a bounty on the Navy, but now someone actually did, making the crossbowmen famous once again. This also attracted many powerful individuals to join them. Therefore, Minos planned to exploit this loophole, since it was indeed difficult to kill a powerful general. However, if he were to reach the Cross Guild era, his strength might become very great, and killing a general would no longer be a dream. For now, he should just stick to the safe option. Having thought of all this, Minos affirmed to the system, Master System, I choose the first one. Ding! Your selection has been received. From now on, when you kill enemies from the Navy faction, the system will use the information listed below as the standard to obtain the corresponding kill points. Seeing the system notification, Minos knew it was too late for regrets. So, Minos turned his attention to the pirate who had been stunned by his conqueror's haki. These are all kill points. We can't let them go. Minos grinned, picked up his supreme grade sword and began to finish off the enemies, muttering to himself, this is kill points, but it's also money. After Minos killed a pirate, the system notification sounded. Ding! Congratulations, host, you have gained 10 kill points. Although Minos already knew that the kill value of a small fry was only 10 points, he still couldn't help but feel a little disappointed that he only got 10 kill points after actually killing them. Minos looked at the hundreds of pirates lying on the ground, and his disappointment vanished instantly. As the saying goes, even the smallest mosquito is still meat if there are enough of them. And so, with every step Minos took, a pirate died. Ding! Congratulations, host, you have gained kill points. After repeating this process for a while, he killed all the pirates. Minos didn't feel uncomfortable at all, on the contrary, he felt great. These were all kill points. At this moment, blood completely stained his body, but he didn't care at all. Instead, he used his consciousness to check the system panel to see how much kill value he had. After all, he didn't pay attention to how many he killed, he only knew that killing a small fry would give him 10 kill points. Chapter 7. The system panel has changed significantly since then. Host, Minos. Age, 19. Skills, Intermediate Armament Haki, Intermediate Observation Haki, Intermediate Conqueror's Haki. Physical attributes, strong physical attributes and possesses the strength of giants. Items, 1 Supreme Grade Sword, 1 Black Justice Cloak, 1 Mythical Zoan Devil Fruit. Kill value, 3,400. Strength, Vice Admiral of the Marine Headquarters. Comment, as long as you don't do anything reckless, you can live happily in the world of One Piece. Minos stared at the system panel, lost in thought. His original intention was to see how many kill points he had. Pub future ads. The kill points were visible, totaling 3,400. Of these, 400 points were provided by Kang Lang, and the remaining 3,000 points were earned by killing 300 pirates. But Minos didn't expect the system panel to change, adding 2 new items, physique and strength. The fusion of his superhuman physique gave him strength comparable to that of a giant, which is truly unbelievable. What puzzled Minos was that even with his super strong physique and intermediate level 3 color haki, he was only at the level of a vice admiral. He should at least be at the level of an elite vice admiral, if not a near admiral. P.S. Brothers, in the world of One Piece, there is actually no such thing as a realm or level. Titles or positions are used instead, such as Admiral, Yonko. These are just titles and do not reflect a specific level of strength, they only demonstrate one's power. P.S. So, based on my understanding of the One Piece world, I decided to create a power level system that combines the Navy system with pirates. This will make it easier for everyone to understand. Also, I will use examples of characters to illustrate this when introducing it. P.S. The hierarchy in the One Piece world is roughly divided into Marine Rear Admiral, Marine Vice Admiral, Elite Vice Admiral, Admiral, 4 Emperors, King, and God. P.S. The strength of a Marine Rear Admiral is based on Drake. In the worst generation, everyone except Blackbeard is roughly at the Rear Admiral level, including Luffy, Law, and Kid. P.S. The strength of a Vice Admiral is based on the example of Mount Kagami. Representative figures in the Navy include Mount Kagami and Smoker. In the pirate faction, there are the true fighters of the Beasts Pirates, the last few division commanders of the Whitebeard Pirates, and Baron Tamago and Pudding from the Big Mom Pirates. P.S. Elite Vice Admiral strength is based on Weasel. Representative figures in the Navy include Inigamo and Momonga. In the pirate faction, there are the Beast Pirates' 6 sons, Thatch of the Whitebeard Pirates, Cracker, and Longbread of the Big Mom Pirates. Even Moria, one of the 7 warlords of the sea, is only an elite vice admiral. P.S. The strength of a near admiral is based on Momuzagi. Representative figures in the Navy include Momuzagi and Chiton. In the pirate camp, the Beast Pirates' 3 disasters King, Queen, and Jack are all near admiral strength. Other examples include Marco and Vista of the Whitebeard Pirates. The Big Mom Pirates' suite commanders Katakuri and Smoothie are also examples. Among the 7 warlords of the sea, Jinbe, Doflamingo, Hancock, Whitebeard Jr., and later Crocodile are all near admiral strength. In the world of One Piece, whether the admirals and emperors are of the same rank is a major point of contention. Given this, why not add 4 sub-ranks to the admirals, emperors beginner, intermediate, advanced, and top tier? This would easily resolve the issue. The 3 former marine admirals were Sakazuki, Akainu, Kyuzan, Aokiji, and Borsellino, Kizaru. Among the 3, Akainu was significantly stronger than the other 2. After the Marineford War, Akainu reached the top level of admiral strength, as did Aokiji. Kizaru, on the other hand, appeared to be only at the high level of admiral strength. As for why the generals couldn't defeat the 4 emperors, it's probably because the original 3 generals hadn't cultivated their strength to the highest level, which is why it seemed like they couldn't defeat the 4 emperors. During Sengoku's time as a naval admiral, 3 powerful figures emerged in the Navy, Admiral Sengoku, Admiral Zephyr, and Vice Admiral Garp. Of the 3, Sengoku and Zephyr are both admirals, only Garp is not. This is not because Garp lacks strength, but because Garp values freedom and does not want to be an admiral and be subject to the orders of the celestial dragons. The admirals of this period were incredibly powerful, and the pirate world was in a state of chaos. There were strong figures like Whitebeard at his peak and Shiki at his peak. Garp and his 2 companions held their own against Whitebeard and his allies at their peak. This demonstrates that their strength was definitely at the top level of an admiral. Following the Marineford War, the Navy conducted a global recruitment drive, selecting 2 new admirals, Fujitora and Green Bull. Together with Kizaru, they formed the new 3 admirals of the Navy. Kizaru goes without saying, he's just like that. Fujitora and Green Bull are called monster admirals, but they only give off the vibe of mid-level admirals. Whether in the Doflamingo arc, the Diva movie, the Inagashima arc, or the battles in Usse, Fujitora and Green Bull's performance was extremely poor. Therefore, Fujitora and Green Bull are at most at the high level of admirals, and could not possibly reach the top level of admirals. P.S. Kizaru is used as the standard to represent the strength of the admirals, 4 emperors. Representative figures in the Navy include Sengoku, Garp, Zephyr, Akainu, Aokiji, Kizaru, Fujitora, Green Bull, etc. Within the Revolutionary Army, there are Dragon and Sabo. While Dragon hasn't shown much of his strength, he was formerly a vice-admiral. Had he not defected, he would undoubtedly be an admiral. Sabo, after eating the flame fruit and undergoing training, possesses admiral-level strength. In the pirate ranks, there are the Roger pirates, including Pirate King Roger, Rayleigh, Jabba, and Odin, the Flying Pirates, including Shiki, the Beasts Pirates, including Kaido, the Big Mom Pirates, including Charlotte Linlin, the Whitebeard Pirates, including Edward Whitebeard, the Red-Haired Pirates, including Shanks and Beckman, and the Blackbeard Pirates, including Blackbeard. And the 5 elders of the world government, as well as Corrin of the Knights of God, and many other admirals such as Hawkeye, Mihawk and Barrett. P.S. Representative figures of king-level strength include Kong and I'm from the Navy, World Government, Faction, and Red Earl Redfield and Rox from the Pirate Faction. Both Kong and Red Earl can be considered early-stage king level, and their strength is actually quite similar. Although Red Earl defeated Kong, he was also exhausted and was captured by the Navy. Rock's strength can be considered as high-level king. In the battle at God Valley, it wasn't just Roger and Garp who attacked Rox, there were also many other powerful figures such as Garen. Seeing the situation was dire, Whitebeard and his crew abandoned Rox. Therefore, Rox is the most powerful known person in the pirate world besides Im. Then there's our King Im. Honestly, it's hard to say for sure what Im's strength is. While he severely injured Sabo in one move in Usse, he doesn't seem to be at the god level yet. At most, he's at the top-tier king level. Chapter 8. Minos was very puzzled that the system panel only showed the strength of a lieutenant general, and not even an elite lieutenant general. He possesses an exceptionally strong physique and intermediate level 3 color haki. If not admiral level strength, he is at least a near admiral level strength. Ding! This system has received a question from the host. Ding! The host is currently an empty shell, possessing strength but unable to unleash its full potential. Well, Minos was speechless at the system's answer. He certainly has immense strength, but he doesn't know how to use it, he only knows how to rely on brute force. Ding! The host doesn't even have a single signature move yet, and his use of power is also very crude. Minos was speechless again after seeing the system's notification. Not only did he lack a signature move, he didn't even have a basic technique. No wonder his strength only reached the lieutenant general level. Minos had no choice but to swallow his pride and ask the system, Master System, how can I acquire special skills now? Should I buy them from the system shop, or cultivate them myself? Ding! The host can buy these skills in the system shop. Moreover, the host will fully master the skills purchased from the system shop and will not experience any unfamiliarity with them. Ding! Of course, the host can also cultivate on their own. However, this system currently does not recommend that you cultivate on your own, because mastering a powerful skill requires a very long period of time. Minos was surprised by the system's response. He had originally planned to diligently practice a special skill, but after hearing the system's suggestion, he had to abandon that idea for now. Hey system! What amazing skills does this system shop have? Open it up and let me see. Minos urged the system. Minos really wanted to improve his strength so that he could roam freely in the pirate world. Upon arriving in this pirate world, Minos understood that without strength, everything was just empty talk. Only with strength could he obtain what he desired. Ding! The system store has been opened. Please check it out. Upon hearing the system's words, Minos immediately used his consciousness to look at the system shop. At this point, the system shop already contained many unique skills, no longer a blank slate. One Piece World. Naval 6 Styles, 600 kill points. Divine Avoidance, increases kill points. Thunderous 8 Trigrams, increase kill value. Hegemony, increase kill points. Naruto World. Raise Nan, increases kill points. Spiral Shuriken, increases kill value. Chidori, increases kill points. No Sharingan required. Lightning Blade, increases kill points. No Sharingan required. Fire Release, Storm Dance, 3000 kill points. Death World. Black Coffin, increases kill points. No chanting required. Final Scenery White Emperor Sword, increases kill points. No Zanpakuto required. Zangetsu, low budget version increase kill points. No Zanpakuto required. Tensa Zangetsu, increases kill points. No Zanpakuto required. Minos saw so many skills from the anime world, and he wanted them all. But looking at the kill points required, he could only drool silently, which made him want to go and kill again to earn more kill points. He only has 4000 kill points, how can he buy anything? Am I only allowed to buy the Navy's 6 styles? This made Minos extremely unwilling. Who could understand the feeling of being able to watch a super technique right in front of you without being able to kill it? Minos, his eyes bloodshot, anxiously pleaded with the system, Master System. Could you please provide some techniques that I can afford? Aside from one Marine 6 styles and one fire release technique, I can't afford any of the others. Ding! Request received from the host. The system is currently searching. Minos watched the system searching, feeling extremely uneasy. He could only hope that he could afford the ultimate skill, otherwise, he would have no choice but to go on a killing spree. A fierce glint flashed in Minos's eyes as he thought of this. While Minos was still pondering, the system reacted. Ding! The skills that the host can currently purchase have been found. Ding! Navy 6 styles maxed out, only one style is available. If you choose the finger pistol, you will receive powerful special moves such as the Monkey King Spear after purchasing it 4000 kill points. Ding! Flowing Water Rock Shattering Fist, low-end version 4000 kill points. Ding! A Standard Punch, low-end version 4000 kill points. Ding! Wolf Fang Wind Fist, low-end version 4000 kill points. Ding! Pegasus Meteor Fist, low-end version 4000 kill points. Minos really wants all these amazing techniques. Especially the Flowing Water Rock Smashing Fist and the Normal Punch, they're perfect for his current situation. Although the Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist is only a low-end version, if he obtains it now, his strength will increase significantly, and his attack power will also be enhanced. At that time, he will at least be at the level of a quasi-general. In the One Punch Man world, Bang's Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist is incredibly powerful, a fist technique that combines offense and defense. And the ordinary One Punch Man is even more formidable, it's Saitama's signature move. Don't let the corny name fool you, this punch is anything but ordinary, capable of making someone question their very existence. Although both are low-end versions, they are very suitable for the current Minos. After a brief deliberation, Minos decided to purchase the Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist, as it was a powerful technique that combined offense and defense, perfectly suited to him in the world of One Piece. While other techniques were also powerful, the water stream rock smashing fist was currently the only one suitable for him. Thinking about all this, Minos said to the system, "Hey system, buy me the water stream rock smash fist." Ding! A purchase request has been received from the host. Please wait. Ding! You have purchased the water stream rock smash fist. Simply use it now. Ding! Since the host has consumed 4,000 kill points, there are now 400 kill points remaining. Minos looked at his remaining 400 kill points and felt a deep sense of desolation. The kill points he had just accumulated were gone in an instant. Who could understand the pain of this? It's like receiving your salary right away. It hasn't even warmed your hands yet, but you have something you absolutely need to buy, and it's all gone in a flash. Who wouldn't feel the pain? Minos only felt a pang of regret for a moment. After all, buying the water stream rock smash fist would increase his strength and allow him to survive in the pirate world. Minos, thinking about all this, could only console himself. Money can be earned back, kill points can be earned back, but once life is gone, it's truly gone. Minos took a deep breath, deciding to ignore it all. He stopped looking at the kill count and silently practiced the fusion flowing water rock shattering fist. The moment the flowing water rock shattering fist merged into Minos's body, Minos felt his physique and strength change once again. After the complete fusion, Minos's consciousness emerged from the system panel. He carefully sensed his own strength and indeed felt much stronger, without the floating sensation he had before. Minos could feel that his use of power was becoming more proficient, especially his fist techniques. Minos laughed inwardly. This time he had truly become stronger. Chapter 9. So, once we leave Logue Town, let's hunt down pirates in the East Blue. With his near-admiral strength, he can slaughter them indiscriminately in the East Blue. He. Pirates of the East Blue, are you ready to die? Minos thought about this and became excited. After indulging in fantasies for a while, Minos looked around the town of Rogue. He found either the corpses of pirates or unconscious residents of Logue Town. This made him realize how fortunate he was to have been magnanimous, otherwise, these people would truly be dead. However, a hint of regret flashed in Minos's eyes. If only these unconscious people could have sworn an argument with him once they regained consciousness. He could have even used some moral blackmail, saying things like, "With such power, why didn't you act sooner? Why wait until their families were destroyed before you acted?" Minos felt his adrenaline surge as he thought about this. If these people really said that, it would be truly chilling, but he was also happy. Then you'll get the kill points, right? 1 kill is 10 kill points, so what about 10, 100, 1,000, or 10,000? This town of Rogue must have at least tens of thousands of people. A single glint of cold light shines with boundless brilliance. What harm is there in slaughtering the entire pirate world? Oops, looks like I've switched to the wrong channel. But as Minos looked at the still unconscious people of Rogue Town, his lingering regret vanished. After all, he didn't have time to wait for them to wake up. Now he just wants to find a place to rest and clean off the blood. At first, he didn't feel nauseous, but now he feels very uncomfortable. This reminded Minos of the black cloak of justice in his system inventory. Did the system anticipate this situation and give him a black justice cloak that wouldn't break during battle and had its own cleaning function? If the system knew what Minos was thinking, it would definitely say, "Host, you're overthinking it. This system just wants you to wear the black justice cloak and court death in front of the navy, so you'll have more kill points, and its performance will skyrocket." Minos was getting bored in Rogue Town and turned to leave, afraid he wouldn't be able to resist. After all, those were all kill points. But Minos hadn't expected that just as he was about to drive away, a furious roar came from afar. "What have you done, you demon?" Minos, who heard the angry voices in the distance, was completely bewildered. Is that person in the distance talking about a demon? But he hasn't done anything wrong. Confused, Minos looked in the direction of the roar and saw a cloud of white smoke rushing toward him. Minos was even more puzzled. How could smoke talk? Okay, once Minos saw it clearly, he instantly understood, it was Smoker. That's perfectly normal. Unlike Minos, who was still speaking in a flippant tone, Smoker was extremely anxious. He feared that the people of Logue Town had already been killed by the pirates. Rewinding to a short time ago, Smoker led the Marines out to capture pirates. This was all fine, but while he was capturing pirates, he suddenly received news that Logue Town had been invaded by pirates. Moreover, it was the same Blue Wolf, with whom he had previously clashed. Smoker was very puzzled as to why the wolves would only invade after he had left Logue Town. This was clearly suspicious. His whereabouts had been leaked. Although he usually didn't care whether his whereabouts were exposed, after all, he enjoyed capturing evil pirates, this time it was just too coincidental. Someone must have leaked his whereabouts to Kang Lang after he left. This means it was someone in the Navy who leaked it. Thinking this, Smoker couldn't help but curse, "You despicable scoundrel, don't let me find out who you are." Well, Smoker's loud cursing was heard by everyone in the Navy. They wondered, who had offended Lieutenant Commander Smoker this time? In their minds, Smoker was a hard-working, rigid person, in short, lacking emotional intelligence, and those who offended him almost never fared well. The Navy personnel silently mourned for the person who had offended Smoker. At that moment, Tashiji approached Smoker again and asked, "Major Smoker, what happened?" Smoker, upon hearing Tashiji's question, could only suppress his anger. Although he was furious about the pirate invasion of Logue Town, he wouldn't vent his anger on his subordinates. Smoker, having calmed himself, said in a low voice, "Logue Town has been invaded by pirates." After Smoker said that, the Marines fell silent instantly. They couldn't believe that Logue Town had been invaded by pirates. Since Lieutenant Commander Smoker took office, he had arrested or wiped out most of Logue Town's gangs. The surrounding pirates dared not engage in fighting in Logue Town, much less invade it. They were now hearing that Logue Town had been invaded by pirates, which was incredibly hard for the Marines to believe. Immediately afterwards, the previously silent Navy personnel erupted in intense panic. "You know, some of them are Marines, their families and children are in Logue Town, and now that it's been invaded by pirates, aren't they in danger?" Some of the Navy personnel cried out, "Lieutenant Commander Smoker, please save Logue Town and our loved ones." Smoker felt a pang of unease as he listened to his men's pleas. Although he was usually very strict with his men, he only meant to make them work harder so they wouldn't be easily killed by pirates. Despite his distress, Smoker retorted firmly, "You are soldiers of steel. How can you be crying here? Stop crying right now." After hearing Smoker's words, some of his relatives in the Logue Town Navy stopped crying, but tears still streamed down their faces. A man doesn't easily shed tears, unless he's truly heartbroken. This heartbreaking scene deeply saddened the other Marines and Tashiji. They hadn't expected that Lieutenant Commander Smoker would not only fail to comfort the Marines at this moment, but would instead use a stern tone to tell them not to cry. They were very puzzled by this. Could it be that they had really followed the wrong person? Tashiji muttered to herself, "Major Smoker isn't that kind of person." Smoker observed the expressions on the faces of the Marines, but said nothing. He simply turned to the navigator and helmsman and said, "Sail towards Logue Town immediately. This pirate capture operation is now over." After Smoker finished speaking, the people on the warship were stunned for a moment, but then immediately cheered. They smiled, and the sad expressions on the faces of the Navy personnel became much more cheerful. They thought to themselves, as expected, Major Smoker is still the same Major Smoker who's all bark and no bite. Smoker, who had his back turned, heard his men's joyful cheers and a slight smile appeared on his lips. Chapter 10. Soon, Under Smoker's orders, the helmsman and navigator steered the warship directly toward Logue Town. The pirates, who were preparing for a desperate battle with Smoker, were completely dumbfounded. They hadn't expected that Smoker, the White Hunter, would actually spare them, which shocked them greatly. It's well known that Smoker has a very high reputation in the East Blue. Whenever Smoker encounters pirates, he's guaranteed to capture them. Although the pirates didn't know what had happened, it seemed that Smoker was in trouble and didn't capture them, which could be considered a kind of good luck. Hee, the pirates ran off happily, muttering, "Let's go, let's go." Sailing at sea is both boring and nerve-wracking. Especially for Smoker and the rest of the Navy, who were already anxious and could only silently pray that there was still time. Although Smoker and his crew arrived in Logue Town in a short time at sea, it felt like an eternity had passed. Smoker had just returned to Logue Town when he saw the houses destroyed by the pirates, which made him unable to suppress his anger any longer. Smoker gave a signal to his men, then went ahead and told them to hurry up and follow. He then used his devil fruit powers to transform into liquid smoke and sped towards Logue Town. As Smoker sped through the town, he kept a close eye on his surroundings. What puzzled Smoker was why some people appeared to be unconscious, yet had no wounds on their bodies. This greatly puzzled Smoker. But Smoker, his mind already consumed by rage, couldn't understand it, so he stopped thinking about it. At that moment, all he wanted was to crush the invading pirate, the Blue Wolf, into pieces to vent his anger. As Smoker approached the edge of Logue Town and near its center, he witnessed a scene he could hardly believe. At this moment, the center of Logue Town was filled with people lying down. They were densely packed together, a truly eerie sight. What shocked Smoker even more was that, amidst that dense crowd, there stood a tall, upright figure. He was a calm young man with red hair, a handsome face, a slender body, a long sword in his hand, and clothes stained with blood. Smoker was also shocked by the boy's composure, how he could remain so calm and collected in such a hellish scene. But Smoker quickly realized that this massacre might have been committed by this boy. Clearly, Smoker believed that Minos was responsible for the killings in Logue Town. As Smoker was thinking about these things, he happened to see Minos turn around and prepare to leave. Smoker roared angrily, "You monster, what have you done? Let's go back to the present." Minos was about to leave when he saw the smoke from the voice. Initially confused, he then realized that this was none other than the talkative guy from the original story. Speaking of Smoker, Minos had a deep impression of him, not because he thought Smoker was some kind of righteous marine, but because he thought Smoker was truly useless. He talked big all day thinking he was great, but he couldn't beat anyone. If it weren't for the Navy's protection, Smoker would have died during the crocodile incident. In Minos's eyes, Smoker was the kind of person who was arrogant and ignorant of his own limitations. Minos held Smoker in utter contempt. All he did was ramble on and on, but he was nothing but a useless piece of trash. Minos's face darkened at the thought, and he wanted to teach this boastful guy a lesson. As for why he didn't kill Smoker, it was because killing Smoker now would cause a lot of trouble. He hadn't yet reached his full potential. Minos now felt that he couldn't afford to completely break ties with the Navy, otherwise his future would be extremely difficult, and he might even be summoned by a Navy admiral, Aokiji, for a talk. He would be truly devastated then. Although he could escape, it would be a very embarrassing situation. In fact, that's not all. Smoker also became a vice admiral in the Navy after the Marineford War. This would just increase Minos's kill count. It would be such a waste to kill him now. A thought flashed through Minos's mind as he looked at Smoker approaching at lightning speed, a hint of mockery in his eyes. He threw a punch at Smoker, a punch imbued with armament haki. Smoker was still furious and ready to kill the boy in front of him. But before he could get close, he saw a black fist coming towards him. Smoker never expected Minos to be so uncouth, possessing armament haki. Unable to dodge in time, Smoker was slammed against the wall by Minos's punch. And when it falls to the ground, it kicks up dust. Minos looked at Smoker lying motionless on the ground, a happy smile spreading across his face. He muttered to himself, finally got a punch on that big talker. So satisfying. Don't ask why Minos didn't use a sword, it's because he doesn't know swordsmanship. Minos was pleased for a while, but then he saw Smoker still lying on the ground. He felt incredibly bored, he had only thrown a very light punch. Why was Smoker still lying there? Is Smoker just bad at this? Or is he planning a sneak attack? Minos, regardless of whether Smoker was faking it or genuinely incompetent, coldly addressed the lying Smoker, "You little punk, you're not going to just collapse like this, are you? That would be incredibly boring. If you don't stand up soon, then I might as well take your men." Minos's tone became excited as he said this. Smoker's soldiers were known for their killing prowess. As for why Minos said that, it wasn't just to provoke Smoker, it was because Minos actually saw those soldiers approaching in the distance. Clearly, they were Smoker's men. If Smoker knew what Minos was thinking, he would definitely cry foul. He really didn't intend to ambush him, it was because Smoker was genuinely knocked down by Minos with a single punch. Minos is already quite strong, equivalent to a vice-admiral, so it's not surprising that he knocked out Major Smoker with one punch. Seemingly having heard Minos's threatening words, Smoker shakily stood up from the ground, though the process was extremely difficult. Minos looked at Smoker as he stood up, his eyes filled with even more mockery. At this moment, Smoker's clothes were tattered, his face was pale, and he was spitting blood, making him look extremely pitiful. But this did not diminish Minos's mocking gaze in the slightest, because, damn, the natives in this pirate world have really good physical fitness. No matter how badly they are injured, they seem to recover very quickly. Of course, apart from natural diseases or having the entire hand cut off, other injuries heal quickly. Chapter 11. After struggling to his feet, Smoker looked at Minos in horror and said, "There's a pirate as powerful as you in the East Blue." Minos wondered if Smoker mistook him for a pirate. Although coming to the world of One Piece, it would seem very out of place not to be a pirate or a marine. But Minos had a penchant for doing things outside the group, so he calmly said to Smoker, "I'm not a pirate, I'm a killer." Smoker looked completely puzzled. What does killer mean? Seeing Smoker's puzzled expression, Minos calmly said again, "That means any obstacle that stands in my way will be destroyed by me. At the same time, whether you are marines or pirates, you will all be dead in my hands." Minos's calm yet ruthless tone once again shocked Smoker. He hadn't expected the young man before him to possess such a bloodthirsty nature. Smoker didn't know whether to call Minos arrogant or foolish. In this pirate world, Minos actually wanted to be an enemy of both the marines and the pirates at the same time. Truly admirable, and foolish. These were Smoker's inner thoughts, but he didn't voice them. He could tell Minos wanted someone with a strong will, and there was no need to persuade him to abandon this insane idea. Besides, they were enemies now. In this situation, it would seem rather foolish to offer Minos such advice. Minos was very satisfied to see Smoker's shocked expression, it seemed his cool factor had been maximized. Sure enough, Smoker was stunned by his incredibly impressive, and sophisticated, words. But Minos didn't care about any of that. He still wanted to teach Smoker a lesson, no matter what, because Smoker was just too deserving of a beating. As Minos raised his fist to strike Smoker, Smoker's men arrived beside him and surrounded Minos as well. Smoker's men, seeing that Smoker was injured, roared at Minos, "You monster! Haven't you killed enough people in Logue Town? Now you've even seriously injured Major Smoker. Aren't you afraid of being arrested by Marine headquarters?" Minos was already in a bad mood, looking at the Marines, Smoker's subordinates, surrounding him. Now, hearing their threats, Minos frowned even more, becoming even more annoyed. Seeing the increasingly audacious Marines, Minos's eyes flashed red again, and he instantly activated his Conqueror's haki. In an instant, all the surrounding Navy personnel, including Smoker, collapsed to the ground unconscious. Phew, Minos sighed and muttered to himself, finally, some peace and quiet, and no more trouble from the small fry. Then, Minos looked at the unconscious Navy personnel, a bloodthirsty glint in his eyes. He wanted to kill these bastards, but when he thought of the admirals of the Navy headquarters, his displeasure vanished instantly. At this moment, Minos desperately craved power. If he possessed the strength of an admiral, he would have killed everyone except Smoker. Only in this way can his unhappiness be relieved. But Minos remembered this incident deeply, and if it happened again, he would have no more reservations and would refine it instantly. Having figured things out, Minos's unhappiness dissipated considerably. He could only blame himself, after all, he lacked the strength to back it up. Minos turned and left again without looking back. If any small fry tried to stop him, he would unleash his full power and kill them. Minos left the town center of Logue Town and arrived at the port, but he discovered something extremely serious. Damn it, Minos cursed. He hadn't gathered any supplies in Logue Town because he wanted to show off, and now that he'd arrived at the port, he realized he didn't have a single supply, or even a ship. Minos was speechless. The ship issue was easy to resolve, there were plenty of ships around the port, weren't there? He can just get one at random, but the problem is the supplies. Without a doubt, the ships docked at the port of Logue Town are empty and need to be resupplied. This made Minos very upset. Should he be sent back to Logue Town to gather more supplies? But that's really low class. Minos felt extremely annoyed at the thought. In the end, Minos sighed. He decided to search the ships, hoping to find some supplies. Minos searched the ships thoroughly but found nothing of value. This greatly disappointed him, and he was considering whether to return to Logue Town to conduct a raid. Suddenly, Minos spotted a ship in the harbor with a flag that looked like a seagull, a discovery that instantly made his eyes light up. Clearly, this is a small warship belonging to the Logue Town Navy. Minos looked at the Navy's warships, and an interesting idea flashed through his mind. That means taking it for ourselves. It was already good enough that we didn't kill the Navy in Logue Town. It's reasonable to take their ships, warships, now. That makes perfect sense, Minos muttered to himself. People like to use a plausible excuse to numb themselves. And so Minos boarded the Navy ship. No, now it should be called Minos's ship. After Minos boarded his ship, he discovered that its facilities and equipment were far superior to those of other ships. It's like they don't understand anything at all. While examining the warship, Minos was also checking for supplies. Minos believed there must be supplies on it, since Smoker had just returned from outside. Well, I think so. Minos thought to himself, but he wasn't sure anymore. Minos soon arrived at a storage room and went inside to look around. In one corner, he saw a considerable amount of supplies. Enough to keep him at sea for at least a few days. With the supplies in hand, Minos felt much more relaxed. Minos looked at the shape of his blood-red clothes and felt extremely disgusted. He decided to take a bath first. While sailing at sea, Minos had no worries about taking a bath. When he returned to the port, he looked at the sea in front of him, took off his blood-stained clothes, and jumped into the ocean. Minos wasn't worried about drowning at all. If someone as powerful as him could drown, then he wouldn't even need to live. Minos washed away the filth and blood from himself in the sea, his thoughts drifting back to the battle he had just fought. Minos never expected that he would suddenly be transported to the world of One Piece while simply browsing his browser on a rainy day. This left him with a mix of emotions. Fortunately, he obtained this killing system, otherwise, he would have been truly doomed in the pirate world. Minos, thinking of the system, used his consciousness to look at the system panel. Chapter 12. Host, Minos. H. 19. Skills: Intermediate Armament Haki, Intermediate Observation Haki, Intermediate Conqueror's Haki, Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist, Normal Version. Physical Attributes: Strong physical attributes and possesses the strength of giants. Items: 1 Supreme Grade Sword, 1 Black Justice Cloak, 1 Mythical Zoan Devil Fruit. Kill value: 400 points. Level: Quasi-General. Evaluation: You are already very powerful. As long as you don't encounter an extremely powerful enemy, you won't die. Minos looked at his now rather impressive system panel and was overjoyed. He'd already gained the strength of a near general on his very first day after transmigrating. Wasn't this a huge leap forward? Furthermore, he still has a mythical Zoan Devil Fruit in his system inventory that he hasn't eaten yet. If he eats it, his strength will increase even more. Minos felt a surge of excitement and eagerness as he thought about this. He wanted to eat the mythical Zoan Devil Fruit to enhance his strength. Minos said to the system, "Hey system! What kind of powerful creature owns this mythical Zoan Devil Fruit?" Ding! Host, you finally remembered me. Ding! This is a Zoan-type dragon fruit, mythical Zoan type, Acknowledge, Black Dragon King, form. Okay? Holy crap, did I hear that right? Minos couldn't believe it at all and couldn't help but curse. Minos was completely shocked when he saw the system's description of the mythical Zoan Devil Fruit. Minos still couldn't believe it and quickly asked the system, "Master System, is this really the creature I'm thinking of?" Ding, that's right. This system doesn't lie, this is indeed the one you're thinking of. It's just that this system has completely copied its abilities, turning it into a mythical Zoan Devil Fruit, making it an exact replica of the original. Upon seeing the system's reply, Minos was overjoyed. He hadn't expected that the system had used that person as a model to create a devil fruit, which, once eaten, would grant him all of that person's power. As for why Minos was so excited, it's because the prototype of this mythical Zoan Devil Fruit is the Black Dragon King Acknowledge. That's right, this is the most powerful and greatest villain in fairy tale. Zeref, in my personal opinion, isn't the strongest. He was defeated by Natsu, which doesn't demonstrate his power at all. He's not as imposing as the Black Dragon King. Speaking of the Black Dragon King, Minos had a very deep impression of him in his previous life. In the world of fairy tale, it is a world where magic is the primary medium. There are various powerful spells, including dark magic, god-slaying magic, and dragon-slaying magic, among other incredibly powerful spells. However, Minos believes that dragon-slaying magic is the most powerful. 400 years ago, the fairy world was dominated by humans and dragons. At that time, humans did not possess great strength and only knew basic magic, making them quite weak. In such times, someone came up with a solution, to become a dragon slayer mage, which, as the name suggests, means fighting alongside dragons. Just then, a great battle broke out among the dragons, who split into two factions, one that was friendly to humans and the other that fed on humans. The dragons that were friendly to humans were no match for the dragons that fed on humans, or perhaps we should call them evil dragons, so they chose to share their power with humans, thus fighting together against the evil dragons. Thus, the humans and the dragons who were close to humans reached a consensus, they could choose a suitable human or dragon, one they found agreeable. With both sides satisfied, the Dragon Slayer Mage was born. Then, after humans obtained the power of dragons, they joined forces with dragons that were friendly to humans to fight against evil dragons, thus triggering an even more intense battle. Minos agreed with the idea of factional conflict, believing that when two powerful races, people, with different ideologies live together, conflicts and battles will naturally arise. Thus, humans who obtained the power of dragons and became dragon slayers began to slaughter evil dragons. During the battle, the evil dragons gradually became outmatched. This only fueled their rage, leading them to unleash a furious vengeance on humanity. Under the evil dragon's revenge, the human side suffered heavy casualties. At this time, a human appeared. He was a doctor with very powerful medical skills, capable of treating the dragon's injuries. However, he was very humble and only said that he could stop the bleeding. He lives in a secret realm where humans and dragons coexist peacefully, a place called Montes Sekurat. There is a guardian dragon in the secret realm named Acknowledge. The doctor and the dragon got along very well and became good friends. One day, the doctor went to see Acknowledge as usual, but Acknowledge told the doctor that it was going to the west side of a continent. The reason is that Acknowledge heard about the existence of dragon slayer magic during his journey. Acknowledge feared that the war brought about by the dragon slayer magic would spread to this secret realm, resulting in slaughter and destruction. Unwilling to see this realm destroyed, it decided to investigate the western side of the continent. The doctor was very puzzled by the war between humans and dragons, as the secret realm he lived in had always coexisted and helped each other with the dragons. Acknowledge found the doctor's words somewhat absurd, but it didn't say anything. However, it still indicated it would go check it out, as the dangers posed by dragon slayer magic couldn't be ignored. And so, Acknowledge went to the mainland to check on things, carrying the doctor's hopes. The doctor also told Acknowledge that he must return safely. During the time Acknowledge was away, the doctors waited for it, hoping it would bring good news and that it would return safely. Finally, one day the doctor arrived at the critically injured Acknowledge, but by then all the dragons in the secret realm had turned against humanity. Under the dragon's attack, the secret realm was completely destroyed. All the humans in the secret realm were killed by the dragons, and only the doctor survived. The doctor, seeing his fellow humans killed by the dragons, was filled with anger and hatred for the dragons and for Acknowledge. But faced with the powerlessness of the dragons and the powerlessness of Acknowledge, the doctor kept his hatred to himself. From that moment on, the doctor vowed to avenge the humiliation of fear, powerlessness, and hatred. And so the doctor turned to the dark side. He no longer needed the ability to stop bleeding, he needed the ability to make dragons bleed to death. Ultimately, the doctor embarked on a journey to find the power, dragon slayer magic, and after many hardships, he finally obtained the dragon slayer magic. The doctor, who had acquired the magic to slay dragons, then went on a quest to find and kill dragons. They also killed the human doctors who coexisted with the dragons, showing no mercy. He felt these humans were too hypocritical and that he might as well kill them himself. He forgot his own name as he continued to kill dragons, but he always remembered the name he hated, Acknowledge. So he adopted the name Acknowledge as his own. And so Acknowledge was born. He then used this name to relentlessly slaughter dragons, until they were terrified. Acknowledge eventually killed all the dragons, except for a few, including the Fire Dragon King, and he himself was transformed into a giant dragon by the Dragon Slayer magic, and then became the Dragon King, Black Dragon King. Chapter 13. Minos reflected on Acknowledge's life, from a kind doctor to a dragon. It truly proved the saying that the boy who slays the dragon eventually becomes the dragon himself. Minos, whose consciousness emerged from the system panel, saw that he was still in the sea. After cleaning himself up, he returned to the ship. At the same time, Minos communicates with the system, causing it to put on the black cloak. Ding! The black cloak is now on. After the system finished speaking, Minos quickly checked his own condition. Standing 3 meters tall, dressed in a black suit and a black cape of justice, he looks every bit the handsome young man. But that's not the key point. The key point is his outfit. This is a completely different kind of naval admiral. Minos thought that if he joined the navy, he might be able to get the title of Admiral of Darkness. Keek, get back to business. Minos then took out a mythical zoan-type devil fruit from his system inventory and stared blankly at the strange fruit in his hand. The system noticed that Minos hadn't eaten and couldn't help but ask a question. Ding! What's wrong, host? Why aren't you eating? Minos chuckled awkwardly after hearing the system's question. That system? I was just thinking that if I ate this devil fruit, my strength might break through to the king level, which makes me a little hesitant. Bite. The system was speechless at Minos's words. It hadn't expected Minos to be such a sentimental person. Ding host, you're overthinking it. I forgot to remind you. This Dragon King devil fruit is too powerful, so this system has sealed it into 3 stages: juvenile, mature, and peak. Therefore, don't worry, host, you won't break through to the king level after eating it. Ah! The system's words snapped Minos out of his reverie, followed by Minos's flustered cries. No way! Lord Commander, maxed out power is actually pretty good, there's no need to seal it. Minos was startled by the system's words. Master, I was just making a comment, you didn't have to take it seriously, did you? Ding! This system has been sealed and cannot be changed. Clearly, the system directly rejected the obnoxious Minos. Damn it! Minos couldn't help but curse under his breath after seeing the system's rejection. Minos was now truly on the verge of tears. He had only made a casual remark, but the system immediately dealt him a major blow. Is life really full of ups and downs? Now that things had come to this, Minos couldn't change anything. He then asked the system if this Dragon King mythical Zoan devil fruit had any drawbacks. Ding! This devil fruit is a complete copy of Acknowledge's, so there are no drawbacks. Even if there are, they will be fully adapted to, making the user even stronger. Of course, note that the host might have a slight urge to slay dragons when encountering them, but don't panic, this drawback will disappear in the future. Seeing Minos's frustration at this point, it seems that gaining great power also comes with side effects. Minos knew why Acknowledge wanted to slay dragons after consuming the Dragon King demon. It was because Acknowledge hated dragons intensely. Oh well, never mind. Minos figured this side effect wasn't really a side effect, so he just let it go. Then, Minos remembered the weakness of devil fruits in the One Piece world. They are vulnerable to sea water and sea stone. He then asked the system again, Master System, is the Dragon King mythical Zoan devil fruit vulnerable to sea water and sea stone? Ding! No. Actually, the power used by this Dragon King fruit is magic from the fairy world, so it has nothing to do with the One Piece world. Hearing the system's affirmative words, Minos completely relaxed. Qiang Hu, take off. Although the Dragon King devil fruit has 3 stages, Minos is not worried at all, as there are still 3 years left before the main storyline begins. With the aid of the killing system over 3 years, he could become even stronger. His Dragon King devil fruit might even reach maturity. With the system at his disposal and the Dragon King's devil fruit assisting him, he will be invincible. Thinking of this, Minos immediately put the Dragon King devil fruit into his mouth and began to refine it. There's a saying in the world of One Piece that devil fruits are incredibly unpalatable. I've heard they're like that thing. Minos didn't feel anything special when he ate it, instead, he felt a surge of energy entering his body. This puzzled Minos. In the pirate world, people who ate devil fruits all taste bad, but he didn't notice it. While Minos was still wondering, his body quietly underwent a huge change. Minos, noticing the changes in his body, leaped from the ship into the sky. Enveloped in black, evil energy, his hands quickly transformed into powerful dragon claws, his legs into dragon legs, his body into a gigantic dragon, with enormous black dragon wings growing from his sides, a huge dragon tail growing from his buttocks, and finally his head into a black, ferocious dragon mouth with bloodshot eyes. And so Minos transformed into a black, 100-meter-long dragon, exactly like Acknowledge. Minos, now a black dragon, soared through the air with exhilarating abandon. He roared with wild laughter, so this is what flying feels like. And this power I have now is truly mighty. After Minos ate the Dragon King devil fruit, his strength, or rather, his dragon strength, underwent a tremendous change, leaping directly from the level of a quasi-admiral to the level of an admiral. Not only that, his physique has undergone an astonishing transformation. Without advanced armament haki, nothing can harm him in the slightest. Minotaur is currently so strong that his physique is no weaker than Kaido's in the pirate world. Moreover, he is only in his juvenile stage, just transformed into a dragon, and already possesses such a powerful physique. If he were to reach maturity or peak, then truly no one in the pirate world would be able to kill him. As Minos soared through the air, he failed to notice a reporter in the town of Rogue who was secretly taking pictures with his camera. The person being photographed was Minos, and the reporter excitedly exclaimed, "This is big news. Thanks to the president, I was able to photograph such a colossal creature. I'm sure I'll get a promotion because of this." This man was an employee of News King Morgan's. His name was Yamashita Maya. He had worked at the newspaper for many years but remained unknown. This left him very frustrated and unsure of what to do. News King Morgan's knew about Yamashita Maya, the bird, and also knew that he was his longtime employee who had always worked diligently, but Yamashita Maya's filming content was really not good, that is, it was not fresh and the public did not like to watch it. Morgans couldn't bear to see Yamashita Masaya go to waste like this, so he sent him to the East Blue Sea to try and find some good material. Chapter 14. Morgans couldn't bear to see Yamashita Masaya go to waste like this, so he sent him to the East Blue to try and find some good material. After all, that was the hometown of Pirate King Roger, but also the place where Roger met his end. Yamashita Maya was overjoyed to receive Morgan's guidance. Yes, he thought, the East Blue is the hometown of the Pirate King Roger. Perhaps we can find some good material there. After thanking Morgans, Yamashita Masako excitedly went to the East Blue Sea, ready to make a big splash. When Yamashita Maya first arrived in the East Blue, he was quite happy. But he gradually discovered that the pirates and navy in the East Blue were all very weak, making it completely uninteresting, and he couldn't find any good material to use. Feeling dejected, Yamashita Maya eventually arrived in Logue Town, wanting to see the place where the Pirate King had fallen. Arriving at the foot of Logue Town, Moya noticed there were no pirate battles taking place. He felt a little uneasy. Pretty good, he thought. After staying in Logue Town for a few days, Yamashita Masaya prepared to go out to film some footage. However, he didn't expect to see pirates invading Logue Town as soon as he went out. At first, Yamashita Maya didn't know what had happened. Later, he heard the pirates say that they were going to invade Logue Town while Smoker was away, which could be considered as revenge against Smoker. Knowing everything, Yamashita Maya found a safe place to hide and recorded everything using a Den Mushi, snail phone. Yamashita Maya watched the invading pirates, his heart filled with reluctance. He wanted to intervene, but his own strength was insufficient. This left him helpless, and he could only pray that Smoker would return soon. Just as Yamashita Maya was troubled, he saw a red-haired boy stand up. Then, he witnessed the red-haired boy using Conqueror's haki on the pirates, and in an instant, all the pirates and townspeople in Logue Town were stunned by Minos. Seeing this, Yamashita was also shocked and excited. As for why Yamashita wasn't stunned by the Conqueror's haki, it can only be said that the employees of Morgans, the news king of the pirate world, are just that eccentric. He didn't expect that there would be Conqueror's haki in the East Blue, and such a strong Conqueror's haki at that. After the initial shock, he became excited. Now I have the material. The awakening of genius. The boy with Conqueror's haki. Shocking! A supernova has been born. While Yamashita Maya was still excited, he saw the red-haired boy slaughtering pirates at will. Seeing this, Yamashita Maya thought it was normal. After all, killing pirates is a matter of justice. But after watching for a while, Yamashita Maya grew increasingly frightened. He hadn't expected the red-haired boy to be so terrifyingly calm while slaughtering the pirates. And what did that lingering desire in the red-haired boy's eyes mean? Yamashita Maya was drenched in sweat. He thought to himself that a super strong person was about to be born. Such a calm, decisive, and powerful young man, who also possesses Conqueror's haki, is bound to rise to prominence if he survives. It was under Yamashita Masayuki who recorded everything about Minos using a den mushi, snail phone. When Yamashita Maya saw the red-haired boy turn to leave, he suppressed his joy, hoping that the red-haired boy would leave quickly so that he could send the footage he had taken to the president. This footage he shot is absolutely going to go viral. He'll likely get a promotion from the company president, which will elevate his status dramatically, a meteoric rise. Just as Yamashita Maya was still indulging in his fantasies, things took another turn. Smoker returned, but upon seeing the townspeople lying on the ground and the scene of blood everywhere, he engaged in a battle with the red-haired boy. It was called a battle, but it was really just Smoker being completely outmatched, getting punched by the red-haired boy with armament haki. Seeing this, Yamashita Maya was excited again. He had more material. And the content was shocking. Red-haired boy knocks out naval rookie with a single punch. Just then, Yamashita Maya heard the red-haired boy's words again. The boy called himself the Slayer, meaning he would kill all enemies. This included the navy and pirates, which meant that this red-haired boy was going to be an enemy of the two major factions at sea. Yamashita Maya was once again shocked by the red-haired boy, the killer. How could there be such a crazy boy? Next, Yamashita Maya recorded the scene where the killer used Conqueror's haki to knock the Marines unconscious. Whew! Yamashita Maya breathed a long sigh of relief after recording everything. The footage he captured was truly astonishing. If it were released, it would shock the entire ocean. However, he will also profit from this massive amount of news. Phew, it's true that persistence and hard work pay off. Yamashita Maya exclaimed. And so, Yamashita Maya watched as the killer left Logue Town and headed to the port. Yamashita Masaya was about to go to the newspaper office to deliver the message, but when he realized that he needed to go to the port to find a boat to get to the newspaper office, he became a little scared. Because that killer was also at the port. If he had encountered him, wouldn't he have been finished? After much deliberation, Yamashita Maya finally decided to go to the port, since what he was filming was extremely important. Yamashita Masaya was already eager to get promoted and receive the reward. He didn't want to live that miserable life anymore. So, Yamashita Maya slowly walked towards the port, hoping that the killer was gone. Otherwise, if he encountered such a ruthless person, he would be finished. And so, Yamashita Maya slowly made his way to the vicinity of the port. As he looked around, he didn't find the killer, which eased his fear. He really didn't want to encounter the red-haired ruthless man. Just as Yamashita Maya was still happy that he hadn't encountered any killers, he suddenly saw a figure jump into the air from the ship. Yes, this is the killer he has always been thinking about. When he saw the killer leap into the air, Yamashita Maya was startled. He thought bitterly, why hasn't that ruthless person left yet? Although he was afraid of the killer, Yamashita Masaya activated his den mushi, snail phone, as the killer leaped into the air to film the scene. One can only say, he truly embodies the spirit of a working-class person. Even when his life is threatened, he doesn't forget his job. At first, Yamashita was also puzzled as to why the killer could jump into the air. It baffled him. Was this some kind of move by the killer? But soon, what happened next cleared up his doubts. The killer, who had originally appeared as a human, transformed into a 100-meter-long black dragon, soaring wildly through the air. Okay? Yamashita Maya stared in disbelief at the 100-meter-long dragon soaring freely in the sky, muttering to himself, this is a monster. He hadn't expected the killer to be not only incredibly powerful but also a Zoan-type devil fruit user. But judging from the dragon's overwhelming aura, it was probably more than just a regular Zoan type, it was at least a mythical Zoan. And so, Yamashita Mile used a den mushi, snail phone, to film the 100-meter-long dragon that had transformed into a colossal creature. Looking at the precious materials in his hands, Yamashita Maya was very excited. This truly propelled him to fame, and even the ocean seemed to boil because of his material. After confirming that the black, 100-meter-long dragon had not found him, Yamashita Masa also transformed into a newsbird and headed to the nearest newspaper office, where other employees would then relay the message to Morgans. Chapter 15. Minos soared freely through the air, unaware that someone was secretly filming him. Even if he had noticed, he wouldn't have cared at all. His strength has now reached the high level of an admiral, so he is completely unafraid of admirals and the 4 emperors. Even if he can't win, he can still escape. After soaring through the air for a long time, Minos lost interest and began to descend from the sky towards the ship. If anyone were to notice, a huge dark shadow would appear above Logue Town at this moment, enveloping the entire town and creating a very oppressive atmosphere. Unfortunately, the people of Logue Town had already been knocked unconscious by Minos's conqueror's haki. As Minos reached the top of the ship, he transformed again. He changed from a massive black dragon into a handsome young man with grayish-purple hair, a cold expression, wearing a black suit and a black cloak of justice. That's right, Minos has undergone a huge change. His original red hair has turned into long, grayish-purple hair. Please check out Acknowledge's handsome hair for yourself. After consuming the mythical Zoan-type Black Dragon King form, Minos not only gained its power, but his hair also changed, transforming him into a cool and handsome young man like the Black Dragon King Acknowledge. Minos saw the changes in himself and a happy smile appeared on his face. Minos remarked, "I never imagined he'd one day become as cool and handsome as Acknowledge. This is also a change from the outside in, his long, grayish-purple hair and his face, which were originally that of a clear-eyed student, have become cold and aloof. Moreover, his muscles have become more defined." Minos then carefully sensed the changes within his body and discovered that a black energy had appeared inside him. Minos thought, that must be dragon-slaying magic. Minos stretched out his hand, and a ball of black energy instantly appeared in his palm. This was Dragon Slayer magic. It looked extremely evil and eerie, but Minos felt no fear whatsoever. On the contrary, he was overjoyed, for this power was simply too strong. Minos thought that this Dragon Slayer magic should be able to hurt Logia-type users. And it might even be more powerful than Ryuo. Minos is now particularly eager to have a match with a Logia-type Devil Fruit user, so that he can determine whether the Dragon Slayer magic can actually harm Logia-type users. Minos wondered if he should go and beat up Smoker again. But when he thought of Smoker's pathetic strength, Minos gave up the idea. If Smoker knew what Minos was thinking, he would definitely say, "Thank you." After this battle, Minos felt a bit tired and decided to take a good rest. So he planned to rest properly on the ship while sailing at sea. But Minos discovered he didn't know how to use the boat, which was quite embarrassing. This reminded Minos of the yachts the system had mentioned, equipped with a built-in navigation system, the system's radar, which greatly appealed to him. Upon realizing this, Minos hurriedly asked the system, "How many kill points does that yacht with its own navigation system require, Master?" Ding! Kill points. Minos felt saddened after hearing the system's reply. It actually required kill points? Wasn't that just for someone who relied on a shipping magnate? It looks simple, and it really is simple. Although Minos only has 400 kill points right now, he can get them by taking down a few waves of pirates, right? You say it's hard to find pirates in the East Blue? Then go to Nami's village, Kokoyashi village. Also, Usopp's village, Syrup village, has pirates there too. If all else fails, just go to the Grand Line and the New World. There are too many pirates there, it's not something that can be killed off in a short time. With that in mind, Minos decided to go check out Usopp's village first. After all, there were hundreds of pirates there, and he could get a lot of kill points. Then go to Nami's village and take down a bunch of pirates, and prepare to take down Colonel Rat. Wouldn't that give you tens of thousands of kill points? Minos doesn't know how to use a ship right now, so he can only ask the system if there are any rules about the use of helmsmen and navigators. Ding! 200 kill points are needed. One book costs 100 kill points. Ding! This system reiterates that as long as the host has kill points, anything is possible except in the realm of fantasy. Minos said awkwardly to the system, "I've remembered that system. Next time, I'll just buy it from you without asking." Minos then purchased 2 beginner manuals, one titled How to Use a Helmsman and the other How to Use a Navigator. After purchasing it, Minos immediately integrated it, and instantly his brain gained knowledge about navigators and helmsmen. Minos, who knew how to use a boat, sailed directly to Usopp's village. After confirming that the boat was safe to sail, Minos lay down on the boat and went to sleep, without worrying about his safety at all. While Minos was sleeping, the sea began to tremble. The Navy headquarters was the first to receive the news, because it happened while Minos was sailing towards Usopp's village. Smoker and the rest of the Marines, who had been unconscious in Logue Town, regained consciousness. When Smoker regained consciousness, he was in excruciating pain all over his body, and his mind was completely blank. He was still alive. They thought the boy who called himself the killer would kill them all, but to their surprise, they miraculously survived. Not only was Smoker stunned, but the other Marines who gradually woke up were also dumbfounded, unable to believe that they had actually survived. Some even cried out loud. This was the most desperate experience they had ever had. They fainted simply from a glare from someone, completely powerless to resist. Smoker frowned at the noise around him, then said, "Let's stop making noise. We should be grateful that we've survived." Hearing Smoker's words, the weeping sailors stopped crying, and the noise ceased. Then Smoker addressed the Navy personnel again, instructing them to first check if any of the townspeople in the vicinity were injured or still alive. After hearing Smoker's words, the Marines, led by Tashigi, went to check on the townspeople of Logue Town. But they soon discovered that apart from a small number of people who had died, the rest were unharmed. They had no wounds on their bodies, but they were all unconscious. One of the sailors who had come to their senses exclaimed, "This kind of unconsciousness is the same as ours." The Navy officer's words caused the Navy officers present to tremble, as if they had thought of something terrible. That's right, that's the fear of being dominated by Minos, the fear of being instantly killed by overwhelming power. Smoker also heard what the Navy man said, and he remembered that when Minos glared at them, they all fainted. The only thing that can make multiple people unconscious at the same time is probably Conqueror's haki. Chapter 16. Thinking of all this, Smoker used a Den Mushi to call and report to the Navy headquarters. At this moment, in Fleet Admiral Sengoku's office at Naval Headquarters, he was dealing with Wenjing, his brow furrowing frequently, clearly encountering some difficult problem. But a sudden snoring sound was particularly jarring in the large office. Sengoku, who was already frowning, became even more upset upon hearing the jarring snoring. Sengoku angrily shouted, "Garp, can you please keep your voice down?" That's right. The only person who dared to sleep in the office of the Warring States Admiral was Garp. Garp was startled awake by Sengoku's angry shouts and quickly got up, asking, "Sengoku, what happened? Are you in some trouble?" Sengoku was speechless at Garp's carefree attitude. He simply couldn't find anything to say to his old friend. With a helpless expression, Sengoku calmly replied, "It's nothing. It's just that your snoring is disturbing my work." Upon hearing Sengoku's words, Garp burst into laughter. "Sengoku, hey? Being a fleet admiral isn't a pleasant experience, is it?" Sengoku felt quite helpless about Garp's words. When he became fleet admiral, he was full of joy and ready to change the status quo of the Navy, but he found that many things had not changed and there were many things that were beyond his control. Thinking of all this, Sengoku sighed and said to Garp, I really envy your free life now. When Garp heard Sengoku sigh, he also put away his playful nature and said to Sengoku, don't be so pessimistic, Sengoku. Sengoku shook his head at Garp's less than comforting words. There were many things he couldn't explain, and Garp wouldn't understand him anyway. Just as Garp was wondering what to say next, the urgent voice of the communications officer came from outside. The messenger outside shouted urgently, reporting to Marshal Sengoku, there is very important intelligence. Hearing the urgent voice of the messenger outside the door, Sengoku stopped talking to Garp and slowly said to the messenger, come in first, and we'll discuss any important news later. Upon hearing Sengoku's voice, the messenger outside the door pushed open the door and entered the marshal's office. Upon entering the office, he saw Lieutenant General Garp, but he showed no surprise, clearly having seen this kind of thing many times before. The messenger saluted Sengoku and Garp, greeting Marshal Sengoku and Lieutenant General Garp. Sengoku waved to the intelligence officer, signaling him to deliver the intelligence. Garp laughed heartily, is there something important going on? Seeing Garp acting so irresponsibly, Sengoku roared again, Garp, be serious. We have important intelligence to report. You can't afford to be late. In truth, neither Sengoku nor Garp took the important matters discussed in the communication seriously. On this vast ocean, what could possibly compare to the celestial dragon's trivial affairs? The messenger glanced at Sengoku and Garp, who were still arguing. He was speechless. He had heard that Fleet Admiral Sengoku and Vice Admiral Garp had a very good relationship, and now it seemed to be true. Sengoku frowned when he saw the dazed messenger. He said to the messenger in a slightly angry tone, what important intelligence do you have? Speak up now. The messenger shuddered when he heard Marshal Sengoku's slightly angry words. He quickly reported, according to Major Smoker's intelligence, Logue Town in the East Blue was invaded by pirates, but they were defeated by a boy with Conqueror's haki and armament haki. Furthermore, the boy slaughtered the entire Blue Wolf pirates. Ah! Sengoku and Garp, who hadn't cared before, suddenly perked up. Sengoku said urgently, say it again? Someone in the East Blue actually possesses both Conqueror's haki and armament haki. As for that Azure Wolf pirates, what are they? Sorry, I don't know. After all, Buddha only helps those with affinity, not the poor.
वीडियोस बनाने हैं, फिल्मोरा है ना।